So yeah, my question is, if you know that you joined last week class, it didn't make sense, and you watched the recording and it still didn't make sense. Like you're not able to, you didn't get anything at all last week. Just type yes on the comment section. Oh, yes, just type yes. All right. Okay. So I think we have one person said yes. Okay. Yes. 2% said, 3% said yes. So in other words, even after watching the video, it still did not make sense. So okay, we have over 70 persons, and if only 3% said they didn't get it, okay. So do me a favor, please. The three of you, if you don't mind, please just give me a rating. Over 100%, 20, 10, 5, or 50%. Just tell me how much you understood. Let's know what to do. Okay? Let's know what to do. Feel free. And ideally, this is one of the reasons why we usually set up the what is it called? The mentoring and review session, such that if you have any questions, you join the session and then you ask questions, and then I can help you and resolve it. Okay, but just very few persons, less than 20 persons join the session. Okay, and I didn't know how to. I don't think anybody brought up so technical question for me. You understand? But it's fine. I can see the range here is about 40 to 50%. Okay, so but okay, somebody said 20%. Okay, that's fine. I'm sure it's going to make sense over time. But this is what's going to happen. Between now, I will just encourage you to watch if you are sure you watched the video and you practiced alongside and it still didn't make sense, please remind me in our next review session so that I can try and maybe do a crash session, or maybe before Friday, I can actually just choose a specific day for those of you that still have they want to understand it, so I can just spend an hour or two, and then you can ask me all your questions, and I'll do a gentle approach to help you understand it better. Okay. Okay. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to lose you. This is just the introduction. This is just the beginning to cloud engineering. It's fun. It's sweet. To be honest with you, IAM seems to be the hardest part of it. If you can understand it so well, you'll be able to understand every other thing. Some other things are just click, click, click. All right. So don't worry, it will be fine. So in the last class, we were able to cover everything here. So in today's class, we'll be moving to another popular service, which is called EC2. So we will learn to launch and manage EC2 instances to run dynamic applications. So this is what we're going to do throughout this week. Okay. So we'll start with a gentle introduction and build upon it. All right. So we've done S3 bracket. Let's see. Okay, so this is what we covered in last class. So let's move on. So first thing, I want to ask you all, friends, can you still remember when we started this program? I gave you an analogy of someone called Chief Abiola, and I told you that he has a need for a simple gaming application. Were we able to build the application using HTML on our VS Code? Do you still remember that? Please type yes if you still remember that. You realize that when we created that, we were able to test it and it was working very fine, right? It was working very, very fine. Okay, permit me, blessing. I may not take questions now, okay, please, so that we can cover a whole lot of things. Please pardon me. All right, thank you so much. So now we were able to get Mr. Chief Abiola's application running. Okay. Now, but one of the things we were struggling to do was that we didn't have an IP. We didn't have a URL to share with him. You understand? We didn't have a URL to share with him except a screenshot. Do you understand? Now, we want to solve that problem. Okay. We had to introduce cloud computing to Chief Abiola because we told him that with the help of cloud computing, he can solve all these problems. You understand? So I want to show you one of the popular service that can be used to solve Chief Abiola's problem. Okay, so remember we used our computer to solve the problem for Chief Abiola. Okay, so going back to the analogy, so this is a physical PC. All right, so I'm going to click here and call it physical PC. Right, physical PC meaning we can see it. It's physical and it's a PC. Let's do this now. This physical PC, right? Physical computer. When you say PC, it means portable computer. Okay. This was, let's assume that this is my computer or your computer. Friends, if you agree with me, this computer has three components, which I mentioned in the last class. Okay. I told you there are three major things you should always see. Okay. One of them is called HDD. HDD, or what we call storage drive. Okay. Although there's HDD, so it's either we have HDD or SSD. So let's just put it like this. So we have one of them. So we have another one that we have need. So it's called CPU. Okay. Now, another major component we need is something we can call the RAM. Okay. So these are three major components in every computer system. Friends, if you go to the market and tell them you want to buy a computer system, okay, you want to buy a computer, all right. Now, if you click on images, this is what a computer looks like. Either it looks like this or it looks like this, okay. So a computer is simply a machine. So I'll be referring to this as a machine going forward, okay. So this machine, this is how it looks like, okay. And I'm trying to let you know that these are the three components that makes computers stand out. Not necessarily, but these are the three things majorly we are looking out for, okay. HDD, or and SSD. So this is storage drive, okay, where you store information. Your phone has a memory card, is that true? Where it stores information. I want you to know that in computer systems, we call it HDD or SSD. My computer system right now, this is my computer system, okay? If I click on this PC here, can you see the drive? I'm sure some of you are not seeing red anymore. Well, I tried to do some things and that's why it's no longer red. So this is my storage drive. You understand? So your own computer also have its own storage drive. Okay. So that's the HDD, which stands for hard disk drive, or SSD, which stands for solid state drive. Okay. Don't worry about this for now. So we have something we call CPU, which is central processing units. Okay. Now this has to do with speed. This has to do with memory, more like temporal memory, RAM, random access memory. Okay. Now this is HDD, which stands for I've told you what it means. So this is your permanent storage, temporal storage. This has to do with speed. If you want your computer to be very, very fast, these are the three things you need to consider. If you go to the market to buy a computer, these are the three things you need to consider. Okay. SSD is usually faster than HDD. The CPU, the higher the CPU in terms of heads, processing units, the faster the computer. And the higher the RAM, the faster the computer. That's what we are describing a physical PC. Now, I'm going to come here and so this is my own storage drive. If you are using a Windows computer for this session, I'm going to do something. All I need to do is just to type info. Okay. I opened the start menu and I typed info. Okay. When I type info and I click on this, it's going to populate and show me a whole lot of information. Please don't be distracted. The only thing I want you to pay attention right now is you can see that this is the operating system. the type of computer I have, the operating system. Don't worry about operating system. I'll talk about it later. But can you see processor, CPU, central processing unit? So my processor, this is my processor, okay? Now, you also have the same thing on your own computer system, okay? So if your processor is higher than 2.5 gigahertz, it means your computer is likely capable of processing more information faster than my computer. You understand? Good. So this is processor. Okay. So I've also shown you the hard disk drive, which is this. And then for my RAM, RAM, this is it. Installed physical memory, RAM, RAM, 16 GB. Did you see that? 16 GB. Okay. Now, why am I showing you all this? I am showing you all this because as a cloud engineer, right, you want to make sure that the computer you use to host or to deploy your applications or to create your manage your services is very, very capable and sophisticated. I'll say it again. You want to make sure that your computer, no, not now. We're not starting the session. Okay. You want to make sure that the computer you are using is very, very capable and sophisticated. Okay. Now, our client, Chief Abiola, wants us to do something. Now, but several factors, we couldn't, because of the type of computer we are using, we couldn't get a, and because of our budget, we couldn't get a big computer that has so many things. Back in the day, like 1960s, 1950, 1970, we used to have very, very long PCs like this, very, very big, gigantic computers. Okay, something some people call it mainframe. Okay, not necessarily mainframe, but something that looks like this, very big. Okay, very, very big. They are supercomputers. You understand? So they can be used for performing different kind of things. Okay. Now, friends, this big computer, right? Not everybody can afford it back in the day because it's very expensive. Okay. You have seen that my RAM is 16 GB. If I want to manage 1 million users for Chief Abiola's gaming application, my computer cannot manage it. You understand? So I need to buy a bigger computer that has enough memory. Do you understand? I need to buy a bigger computer that has enough memory, that has enough storage and enough processing units. You understand? But not everybody can afford it. So what if my customers even reduce? Does that mean that this computer will become a waste? You see that? Now, I want you to think in from a business perspective, okay, and not from just an engineer perspective. Think from the business perspective. So let's assume that you own a business, right, or as a cloud engineer, right? A business, if I want to run a business, right, that if I want to run a business, the first thing I want to do, right, is to buy the land. Okay, I'll get a big land. Okay, I'll get a big land. Now, when I get the land, the next thing I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to buy computers. Is it not true? Now, when I buy computers, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hire experts. Is that true? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to buy big generators. The next thing I'm going to do is I probably so there's so many things that I can literally do. You understand? So apart from generator, I need to buy maybe for some reason if generator fail, I may need solar panels. Do you understand? Now, apart from that, I may need let's say security men, security people to take care of these computer systems. You know, and all these things I bought. You understand? So now all these things here are the things I need to consider. Okay. Now, but you all agree with me that with the help, instead of buying all these things, okay, it's too expensive for me. Okay. I'm going to find it very difficult to buy all these things just because I want to attend to Chief Abiola. If he's the only client, it means I'll be losing. Okay. Now, we all know that this is one of the benefits of cloud computing. Companies like AWS came and said, don't worry, okay? We will take care of all these things, okay? So there's something we call, it's what we say, CapEx versus OpEx, okay? So this is capital, the CAP means capital, the EX means expenditure, the OP means operations, the EX means expenditure. Okay, so capital and expenditure, this is operations and expenditure. What does it mean? What this is saying is AWS is saying, don't worry about the capital. Okay, and so instead of, this is the way people usually do things. They need capital to buy all these things before they start running their business. That's the running costs for their business. AWS says, no, don't worry. Just focus on the operation costs, operation expenditures. You understand what you need to run the business. We will take care of buying the land, the computers, hiring the experts, the generators, the solar, and the security panel. All you need to do is to reach out to us, and we'll give you access to one of the services that we have. Example S3, example EC2. Please, does this make sense? Now, since we've understood this, these were the things we covered in the last class. Okay, now we've seen that AWS is offering a great solution. Friends, I want you to understand something. Now, this big server you see here, right? These big computers you see here, normally, one of the things we usually do is, let me show you something. So normally, one of the things we do is there's usually operating system. So we come here. So this, no, this is not giving me what I want. So let me show you something. Okay, no, come here. So this is a physical server, right? So I'm going to click here and I'm going to draw something here. Okay, I'm going to draw another one here. I'm going to draw another one here. Now, if you watch this, right, we're going to come here. So let's say this is our physical server. So I want to ask a question, please, on the comment section. On the comment section, please, can you tell me, when we say physical server, what does it mean? Physical server, what does it mean? Just go ahead, try. Azizat, please remind me the question at the end of the class. I will respond. Okay, somebody said database. Server with a physical location. Okay, somebody said hardware. Somebody said physical computers. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, friends, for responding. Thank you. Now, your server is your place of keeping. Okay. Server racks. It means our computers, a physical computer. Okay, so collectively, all your responses put together are correct. Okay. Now, so please don't forget this keyword. I'm calling it physical server for a reason. Okay, physical server. Okay, so it's called physical. One of the reasons it's called physical is because we can see it. Okay, you can see it physical. Okay, if you go to a company, you're going to see a physical server, a physical computer. Okay, so a server is a computer. Take note of that. Okay, we're going to touch this later on. Okay, and talk about types of servers, but we're not focusing on it right now. Just know that a server is a computer. Okay, a server is what? A computer. Okay, you know what? Just to make you understand this much more, watch what I'm going to show you. Let's say this is a computer and this is another computer. Okay, so this is me. Okay, and this is me. And this is Facebook. So come here and say Facebook.com. So come here and reduce the font. Let's reduce the font. So this is facebook.com, right? Now, this is my computer system. Now, if I open this physical computer and type www.something.com, right? It leaves my computer system, okay? It sends traffic, okay, out of my computer system to the internet and locates the computer Facebook, okay? And Facebook gets the information and responds back. Do you understand? So I want you to understand that there's what we call, so the computer, this computer, my own computer, is the one sending a requesting, okay? It's requesting for a Facebook page or it's requesting for a picture, okay? So I want you to see this first one as what? Request, okay? The first one is what? Request. So I am the one asking for a request. Give me Facebook page or give me a picture. Then Facebook will check if the page exists. It will respond back to me. So what it does is it sends back what? A response. Sorry. Good. You see? So place a request, you give a response back. This is what is happening. So if I come here and type request and response, okay? So cycle. I do this. This is what I'm talking about. Friends, can you see? Did you see that? So a computer, you open your browser. Anytime you open a browser in your computer and in the search bar, you type www.facebook.com, your computer is sending a request, okay? And then a computer somewhere will respond back to you. Do you understand what's happening? It sends a request and this computer will respond back to you. Now, there are so many things to say, but I don't want to confuse you. Now, friends, the computer that is sending a request, we call it a client. Client. Okay? This computer is called what? The client. So I'll select this, Control D, come up here. I see this is referred to as the client PC. Okay? Let's reduce the size. So this is the client's PC. And this computer here is called the server PC. Okay, so the server is the one that responds. Okay, you request for a file, it shares the file. You request, it responds. Please, do you understand this now? If you understand, please type yes, just so that we'll be sure. So they are physical computers. Okay, physical computers. One is placing a request, the other one is responding. I hope we understand this simple analogy. Friends, if you understand this now, do you know that this computer can also be configured to be a server? Because all it takes is just to respond. Is it not true? So what I want you to know is that every computer can be configured to be a server or a client. Okay? Every computer can be configured to be what? A client or a server. Take note of that. Okay? So whenever you open your browser and you type something like www.facebook.com, okay? That URL you are typing or that web address you are typing, okay? Once you hit enter, the browser is going to send a request. And on the internet, a lot of things happen. And it will now go to the computer that has it, the Facebook server, and the Facebook server will pick it and look for and check what you need. And if they have it, they will respond back to you. So a lot of things happen. So, but this is not a cybersecurity class, so I won't go so deep. All right. Now we have understood this. Okay. So when I say a physical server, I'm just talking about a server that you can see physically. okay, that is in front of you. All right. Now, this physical server, okay, if you can touch this server, it means it's a hardware. Okay. I'm trying not to confuse you all with normal hardware and software and the rest of them. Okay. So, but this is the hardware. A hardware is something you can touch. That physical computer you can touch. Okay. Is the hardware. Now, this computer you see here has, I told you there are three things that we need the CPU, the RAM, and the hard disk drive. Okay. So let's say that this physical server has a capacity. So let's say the RAM, it has a RAM of let's say 10 terabytes, and it has a CPU of let's say 84 vCPU, and it has what we call SSD, that's storage drive of let's say, let's just put 128, or let's just say 2 terabytes too. It doesn't matter. Okay, so let me increase the size so you all can see. Okay, so friends, this is the configuration of this physical server. Okay, this is the configuration of this physical server. Okay, so this physical server has all these features. Okay, back in the day, all you need to do is to get this physical server. That's the hardware. So if you get the hardware, okay, if you get the hardware, the next thing you need to do after you've gotten this hardware, okay, the next thing you need to do is you need to install something we call operating system. Okay, I'll explain what that means to you in a short while. Okay, now once you have the hardware, the physical PC, you have the operating system. Okay, now the next thing you might want to do is to probably install let's say different kinds of things. It could be networking, it could be storage. So, but let's keep this and say these are the two things we need basically. Okay, so a lot of things can come here now. Let's do this like this. So this is a physical server. Okay, it has a hardware, it has an operating system. What is an operating system? Friends, before I tell you what operating system is, you will notice that I'm touching so many things, right? I'm touching so many things. The reason why I'm doing all this is because the end goal is for you to understand the service called EC2 so that you can be better informed. I would have just gone to the GUI and just show you how to create one. It will not take me up to 5 minutes to show you how to create one. But I want you to understand the foundation, why we needed it in the first place. Remember, you're the cloud engineer. Okay, good. So if this is the physical server, okay, so this physical server you see here, right? AWS has a physical server like this. So this hardware, they usually have something we call operating system. Okay. Now, what is an operating system? You listening to me, I'm sure you have a mobile phone, right? On your mobile phone, it has an operating system. Some popular phones use Android operating system. Some other phones use iOS for iPhones. That's Apple iPhones. Okay. Samsung use things like Android and so on. Okay. So those are what we call operating system software. Okay. Now, while I'm being careful not to go down to basics, but let me just touch it. Okay. So there are two components in a physical computer system. Two components. Let's do this. Two components of a PC. Okay. Two components of a physical computer. Okay. Now, they can be three, but I usually like keeping it simple. Okay. So the first one we have is what we call the hardware components. The second one we have is what we call the software component. Okay. This hardware component is the physical one you can touch. Let me show you. Remember this image we have here. I'm sure you can see this computer. Okay. This is the system unit. This is the system unit. This is the keyboard. This is a storage. This is the mouse. This is a printer. It's the physical things. You can touch it. Is it not true? You can touch it. Anything you can touch, we refer to it as the hardware. Hardware. Okay? You can touch. Now, do you agree with me that if you don't press the power button to turn it on, this computer system is not useful? It's just a box. Is it not true? So there is something that makes it come alive. Okay, it's what we call a software. Okay, once you press the power button, just like your phone, imagine a phone that is bad. Okay, a phone that is bad, that you smashed from the, let's say from a 10-story building, you smashed the phone. You know, there are some phones that it becomes totally destroyed. Okay, even though you can pick it up, if you try to power it on, it's not coming on. Is it not true? But you can still touch the phone. That is the hardware. But the software that gives life to the phone is no longer active. Okay, so software is what gives life to the physical hardware. So the same thing we describe for a phone is what we describe for a physical computer. I hope this is making sense. Now we have known what a hardware and a software is. Friends, I want you to know that a software, right, are in two categories. Okay. I'm trying to rush this because I know some of you already know this. Okay. So I will try not to dwell so much on this. So we can have what we call application software, and we can have what we call operating system software. I'll take it again. Application software, and we have what we call operating system software. This might be distracting you all, so I'll just have to close it. Usually because, all right. So software, I said we have what? Application software, and we also have what we call operating system software. Okay, so software gives instruction to the computer. Okay, so when we say application software, what are we talking about? When we say operating system software, what are we talking about? Friends, the moment you power your phone, once you press your power button on your mobile phone, the first thing it does is to boot up, right? It powers on. Some people call it power on, some people call it booting. Okay. Now, all those things you are seeing, those booting, those processes, is the operating system that is bringing the phone or the computer to life. Okay. Now, when the operating system has brought the phone or the computer to life, the next thing you can do if you want to calculate something is to look for the calculator application and click on it. Is it not true? So the calculator application is called an application software. Okay, that's what we call it. So this physical computer that I'm using for this session right now, this physical computer I'm using for this session, I am currently using Windows. Can you see this? Windows operating system. That's what I'm using. Okay, so Windows operating system is owned by Microsoft. It's a type of operating system. We also have Linux operating system. We also have Macintosh. Okay. In case you don't know, Macintosh is a short word for Mac. Okay. MAC, Mac. In full is called Macintosh. Okay. So now, those are the three popular operating systems. Okay. I don't want to talk about Unix and the rest, but those are the three popular operating systems. Okay. Now, friends, those operating system is what gives life to the computer system. Please, do we understand? So you will always choose the type of operating system you want. Okay. So if you watch, my computer is using Windows, which I've shown you all. Some other computers, some people's computer are using Mac operating system. In this session and in the next sessions, we'll be using different types of operating system. And that's why I'm explaining it now. So that when we get to that point, you won't get confused when we talk about operating system. I hope this makes sense to everybody. Okay, good. So, yes, I think this is the little I don't want to delve so deep in it because of time. So we have the hardware, we have the operating system, okay? And then we have other components that make up the physical computer. So AWS has something as big as this in their office, okay? AWS has something as big as this in their office. Now, my question to you is this: how does AWS help you? So, how does AWS help you to create a server and do other things? AWS, let me show you something, friends. If I type AWS outpost, okay, outpost rack, yeah, and I click on images. Friends, can we all see this? Let me know if you can see this. All right, let me look for another one. Uh, let me look for let me look for it. I need the one we can see clearly. Okay, so anyway, this one should do the job. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm sure you all can see this huge, gigantic rack. Okay, can we all see this? Type yes, just to be sure that you see it and you can understand. Can we all see it? Okay, good. So I want to believe everybody can see it. Now, this is a huge physical um rack. Actually, we use the word form factor, but I don't want to confuse you because it's not a networking class again. All right. So just know that this is a huge rack. Okay. So we have something like this, right? And remember, I was demonstrating something as big as this. So let's say this is one of it. Okay. What you see here is actually, you see, let's click on it so that you can see it well. This is it. See how huge it is. Okay. Very, very huge. Now, this guy has huge components inside of it. Do you understand? It has huge components inside of it. Now, friends, I want to ask you a question. Back in the day, hmm, okay, I'll talk about that later. So this is what we have, right? Now, what AWS does is this. If me, I want to solve Chief Abiola's problem, I don't need to go and tell AWS, please give me server, right? I want to serve Chief Abiola. They won't give me all these big things, okay? There is something AWS does, and that's what I'm going to show you, okay? AWS does a lot of mighty things here. Now, can you see these things you see here? Let me show you inside of it so that you can see that there's so many storage drives inside. Watch here. Can you see this? There's so many disks inside. There's so many components inside. So many. So it's just like saying that this thing, we have one here, we have another one here. You understand? Many of them inside this big server. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay. So that's okay, good. So this is a big computer system. Now, how does AWS now shares this to everybody? AWS uses something we call hypervisor. Okay. AWS installs a software. Okay. AWS installs a software. Okay. Called hypervisor. Now, if I come here, hypervisor. Okay. So now this software functions with the help of a technology we call virtualization. I see somebody typed it here. Okay. We use something we call virtualization. Now, before I confuse you with the word virtualization, please, do you know the meaning of the word partition? If we say my house is partitioned, do you know what it means? Please type yes. If you say somebody's house is partitioned, do you know what it means? Okay, good. So if you are looking at somebody's house from outside, you are only seeing one physical building. Is that true? You're seeing one physical building from outside. But if you come inside, you will notice that it is partitioned. They have a section they call living room or parlor. They have a section they call bedroom. They have another section they call convenience or toilet or bathroom. They use walls to partition, to separate them, to divide them. Beautiful. I love the examples you guys are giving. Okay. So those partitioning, those things, those division, separation is what we call partitioning, or in this context is what they call virtualization. Okay. Any software that can help you to create section, okay, to create section of your computer resources, we call it virtualization. Okay. I'm trying to use simple examples so that you can get the big picture. So what does it mean? So this is a big computer. I don't need 10 terabytes for goodness sake. Okay. What 10 terabytes is like saying 999 gigabytes of RAM, then you get 1 terabyte. You understand? Before you now get 10. So imagine my computer is using what? 16 gigabytes and it's very fast. Some people use 32 gig, right? Now, but AWS is telling you their computer is 10 terabytes, which means it's super fast. Before you just cough or breathe, it's downloaded something very fast, right? So, but AWS cannot use all these things. So when AWS has this kind of big, gigantic computer that has so many resources inside, so AWS installs a software we call hypervisor, and that hypervisor software can be used for virtualization. So you will now, so what that software will do for you is that software will help you, right, to share this server. It's just like, I don't want to say into half, right? But let's just say you share it, okay? So when you share it, you are requesting for a portion and it's going to give you a portion. Do you understand? That's what it's just like you've seen people they who rented an apartment, right? And the landlord was not aware, or maybe the landlord was aware, and those same people rented another person inside that same apartment. Do you understand? So, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. So the hypervisor software is what helps you to share your resources. Okay. So it's going to say, give me, I don't want 10 terabytes, only give me 16 GB RAM. Give me one virtual CPU. Give me half 20 gigabytes of SSD. I don't want all of them. Keep the rest. Just give me a small portion of it. Okay. So if you ask for it, it will not give you a small portion of all these things. Do you understand? And let's remove this. Sorry. So it gives you, if you are requesting for a small portion, okay? So AWS is now going to, let's do this and say, imagine, so I'm not going to edit it, but it's just like saying, okay, you know what, let's do this. Let's come here and say you requested for 2 GB, right? And you requested for 1 or 4, and then you requested for 20 gigabytes. Okay, so this is the configuration of things you asked for. You understand? So AWS will give it to you for some reason. Let's see. Let's do it like this. Let's click and say bring forward, bring to front. Okay, good. So if you watch here, you're going to see. So AWS, out of all the big, they just shared resources. You know, this one is going to reduce. Is it not true? It's going to reduce. So imagine when you now have millions of people, right, requesting for server from AWS. So AWS from their physical server, they will be sharing this big server for all their customers. And AWS has this kind of big physical server, more than 100 of it. So anytime you go to an AWS data center, okay, if you go to an AWS data center, you will see many of them there. Can you see this kind of servers there? Okay, big, okay. So now customers all over the world are requesting, and AWS is just chunking them, and AWS is doing that with the help of what? Virtualization. So this is hypervisor, a type of, so there are different types of software, but I don't want to go into that so that we don't, I don't lose you all. So there's VMware and there's VirtualBox and the rest of them. Okay. So, but um, no, there's no need for all these examples. Let's just leave it as hypervisor. So if you want to read more on it, just type what is a hypervisor and examples of hypervisor softwares. Okay. And it's going to tell you what it is. Okay. You can just come here and say hypervisor and do this. It's a software that you can use to run multiple virtual machines. Okay. Virtual on a single physical machine. Does this definition make sense to you now? I can, so if you look at this image, here, oh my, okay, let's click on, okay. So if you look at this image here, you will see that from one physical computer, you can see virtual PCs here. Okay, virtual, good. So that's the concept. Please do not forget this. It's very, very important. Okay, now let us move straight into all these examples. So AWS, this kind of server that AWS has, they call it EC2. Okay, AWS calls it what? EC2. EC2. That's what AWS calls it. Okay, and EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Elastic because it can increase in size. So if you say you want 2 GB, AWS will give you. If you want more than that, AWS can give you more. If you want less, AWS can give you less. So it's elastic. It can scale up, it can scale down. Okay? Elastic Compute Cloud. Compute means it can be used to process different things. Okay? It can be data, it can be networking, different kinds of things. Okay? I hope you understand what I'm talking about. So if I do this, if I just type EC2, no, I know you are going there, but I just want you to give me EC2 without, yes, just type EC2, good. So if you type EC2, you see Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, okay? So it's AWS popular and favorite service, okay? So this is the one we will be using, okay? And this is what can help you to do all those amazing things we talked about, okay? So it's also called a virtual machine. Now, friends, you know that this machine, this physical server is not with you. It's not in your house. Is it not true? But we need it. I need it because I want to use it to host Chief Abiola's application, right? So because this physical thing is in AWS Office, so AWS is going to create, so they'll create a page for me. And from that page, I can be able to connect to this server. I am doing that virtually. In other words, I'm doing that remotely. Does that make sense? So the computer is not physically in front of me, but I am still connected to it. So this is what we mean by a virtual server or a virtual machine. Okay. So this is a virtual machine. So this is a physical machine. Out of this physical machine, AWS is renting a small portion of their physical server to me. So virtually, I am connecting to it. If you understand this, please type yes. So we can now move into the hard into the demo, practical demo. Please, if you understand, can you type yes? If you understand my explanations too far. Okay. All right, great. Thank you so much. Let's continue. Now that everybody has understood how we came about AWS EC2. So EC2 is AWS virtual machine. If you don't want to call it EC2, just say AWS virtual machine. Okay? And I've told you what the word virtual means. It means you are connecting to a machine that belongs to AWS. Does that make sense? Good. So if you come to log into your computer, okay, AWS has a popular service, and that's the service we are going to use. So all you need to do is to type EC2. Okay? If you type EC2, you're going to see this. What does it call it? Virtual servers in the cloud. And I've told you what a server is. Okay, something that sends, that responds. Okay, it shares files or resources. Any computer that shares resources or responds, okay, to a request is called a server. Okay, so a virtual server in the cloud on AWS cloud. Okay, is they call it EC2. So I will click on this right now. When you click on it, this is what you're going to see. Okay, this is AWS EC2 dashboard. Okay, friends, that's why you see this is the dashboard. Please, I want you to pay rapt attention. The reason I said you should pay rapt attention is because this is one of the service that people enjoy using, and this is one of the service that can rake a lot of money for people unconsciously. Okay, so I want you to make sure you are following my instructions step by step so that you don't incur a cost you did not prepare for. Okay, please take note of that. So if not, you're going to incur some cost. Okay, so this is AWS EC2 service. This is the this can be closed. Okay, so I can close this and I can click here. Okay, if you close this, this is called a hamburger. So if you click on it, it expands. You can close it. Okay, so this is showing us all the resources we have for the EC2 service. Okay, so many other things associated with EC2, but right now we might not touch all of them. Okay, at least for a beginner. I don't want to get you all confused. Okay, now this is how you can create one of them, and this is where you can see the what we call free tier features for for the AWS EC2 service in terms of costing. Now, let me say something which is very, very important. Let me see if you all can still remember. When I was teaching you all S3, somebody says the video is lagging. Is it true? Friends, can you confirm? Can you hear me? Can you see clearly? Is it lagging? Are we good? Okay. Okay. Um, okay. I think majority of the people says, no, it's not lagging. Okay. So I guess it's network actually. Network can be very, very funny. So please, guys, bear with me. If it's lagging from your end, please just bear with me. I'm sure it's your network. I wish you see the hard work I did just to make sure that I get this network. Okay, now let's continue so that we can save time. There's so many things we need to do. Okay, so this is the dashboard, right? Now, the next thing I want to show you is this. Let's pay rapt attention. Okay, I said I was going to ask you all a question. Let me see if you all can remember. When I was teaching you S3, is S3 a global service? Yes or no? Is S3 a global service? Yes or no? The question, let me paraphrase it. By global service, what I mean is, can you find S3 in all the regions? Yes or no? Somebody says, okay, majority of people said yes. Somebody said no, it's regional based. Okay, so let's go back to the class. So the answer is actually yes and no. But the answer is first yes before it becomes no. Like, what do I mean by that? Any what is it called? Anytime you create an S3 bucket, S3 is available in all service. Okay. But when you create a bucket, you are supposed to create that bucket in a region. I think that's the reason why the person says region scoped. You understand? So the fact that you can see it in all the regions, first of all, it means that it is a global service, just like IAM. See, IAM, you can see it in all the service, all the regions. So that's what we mean by global service. But when you want to create a bucket, it has to be specific to the region where you are putting the buckets. Good. Now, please, EC2 is not, I repeat, EC2 is not a global service, or rather, how we say it is EC2 is region scoped. Is region scoped. What do I mean? Please, you know why I'm saying this? Because you can mistakenly create an instance or create an instance, a server in a region, and you will forget and mistakenly you go and choose another region. Okay, you could choose another region and go and create another EC2 instance. You may not know, and your bills will be raking up. You will forget about it, and AWS will just send you a beautiful uh, receipt, right? Bill that requires you to pay, right, monthly, and you'll be wondering what happened. I turned everything off, and AWS tells you this is it. This is running in so region. In fact, sometimes they may not even tell you the region. You need to be the one to search for it. Okay, so please don't forget that EC2 is what? Region scoped. Okay, so right now I am currently doing this in US East 1, which is called North Virginia. Okay, take note of that. All right, now there are different things I can do just so that I don't waste time. Over time, we're going to learn some of these things. I'm going to click on this. If we want to launch, okay, so did you see this is the big machine, right? So I'm asking, I want to ask AWS to create, to give me opportunity to create my own copy. Okay. So my own copy of the big server or my own pie of the big bowl, right? We call it instance. Does that make sense? My own instance of the entire server or AWS servers. Okay. Give me an instance. Okay, or you can call it virtual machine, your choice. But just know that we usually refer to it as what? Instance. So did you see the word launch instance? Okay, so launch an Amazon EC2 instance, which is what? A virtual server in the cloud. Good. So I'm going to click on this, and it's telling you your instance will launch in this region. I'm telling you to please pay attention. Now, right now, I want you to see something before I click on the launch. In this region that we are, these are the number of zones. What do we mean by zone? Availability zones, okay? Which is the same thing as almost data centers, okay? In a particular region, there are different data centers, okay? So in this US East 1 region, we have about 6, or I think this is about 6 regions. If you switch to on your own when you are practicing, I want you to click here, choose another region. You'll notice that this is going to change and the alphabets will change, okay? Now, sometimes some region might not be operational and you cannot create a server there. How do you know? You will always see this status. Okay. If you don't see it, click on this, the health, AWS health dashboard. If you click on this, it's going to show you the health of all the whole EC2 servers in all the regions, your account health. Okay. So now, right now, I can click here. If I have a particular service running, I can choose EC2. But right now, I don't want to choose EC2 because I don't have EC2 running. Let's see. Okay, good. So EC2 instance, Elastic Compute Cloud. This is it. You understand? So If I choose this and click apply, so you see there is none here. There's no EC2 instance. Okay, so just know that this is one way just to know that our services are in good shape. So I don't have anything running. That's why it cannot tell me anything yet. Okay. Okay. Just to save time, let's click on launch instance. Okay. If you're with me, click on launch instance. Now, this is the first thing you're going to see. Okay. I'm going to give this instance a name. Okay. So I'm going to call it Abiola's machine. Okay. Abiola. Okay. Let's call it Abiola server or machine rather. Let's Abiola machine. Okay. Now, I gave it a name. The next thing you will see is something we call AMI. Do you remember I told you that there is something called operating system, right? Now, as much as AMI is not just operating system, AMI is more of an application that has so many things together, an operating system, application server, and so many things. But I don't want to touch on it right now, okay? So that we can cover something practically. So I'll come back to this AMI later, okay? Someone can remind me. So please, friends, can you all see this? So I'm going to choose Windows. These are different types of AMIs, okay? So just click on this one with me. Click on Windows, all right? If you are practicing with me, click on Windows, okay? So let's take it again. The first thing I did was to give it a name and scroll down, right? The second thing I did is to choose an AMI, okay? And I chose Windows. Now, this is the next thing. Please pay rapt attention, okay? Now, what type of AMI or what type of package do I want to run on this Windows? I'm going to explain all those things later. Now, if you click here, you're going to see different types. Okay, so there's something we call instance type. Instance type. But again, I said I'll touch it later. So if you look at what we have here, right, you're going to see different types of AMIs here. Okay, friends, I only want you to make sure that you choose the one that is free tier. If you don't choose free tier, you will pay for it. Notice that the free tier ends here. If you choose anything that is not free tier, you will pay. AWS is going to charge you for it. So please, I always leave it the first one. Okay, so I'll choose this first one. Okay, and it's free tier. I'll scroll down. Okay, so the next thing we have here is what? Instance type. Okay, now if you watch here, you'll see something like CPU, memory RAM. Is it not true? So there are so many types of instance here, so many of them. And you will notice that this is one CPU, one virtual CPU. V means virtual CPU. This is 0.5 gigabyte memory, gigabit memory. This is 1 gigabit memory. This is 2 gigabit memory. So as you go down, it's increasing in capacity, but the names are changing. But if you say, for instance, you want a faster one like this one, for instance, okay, let's say you want 96 virtual CPU and you want 192 gigabit memory. Please, I want you to be looking at the prices so that you will see that per hour you'll be paying for it. You see that? So that is why I told you, if you don't have the money for all these expensive, big computers, please come down here and stick to this free tier one. This will do the job for us. Yes, I know it's one virtual CPU and 1 gigabit memory. So some of you will be wondering, is this going to be enough? It will be enough to do what we want. Okay. Now, I'm sure you can still see prices attached to it. Now, remember, when you create your AWS account, I told you that AWS will give the new customers 12 months free tier services. Okay, so this instance type fall under the 12 months. Okay, so there are so many things. I will explain that later. Okay, so just make sure you choose this. Okay, good. Now, the next thing I want to do is to create something we call a key pair. Okay, key pair. Don't worry about this again. I'll explain it later. So click on this with me. So if I click on this drop down here, I'll see a lot of keys. Okay, I'm sure you guys don't have any. That's why you may not be able to see anything there. But just click on this, create new key pair. Okay, now give the key a name. So I'll come here and call it Cloud Engineer Key. Did you see it? I'll leave it the way it is. I won't touch anything. I'll just click on create key pair. Did you notice it downloaded it? Okay, it downloaded that key right now. Now, after downloading it, it showed me the name here. Did you notice that this is showing required? So it's very important because of the type of instance we are creating, Windows. Okay, friends, I'll come down. I'm not going to touch anything on the networking. This is networking. I won't touch anything. Anything. I don't want anything. Okay? Now, let's see. Why do I? Okay, just for the sake of this class, just check these two boxes. Don't worry about it now. Just check the two boxes. Don't worry. Okay, scroll down. Now, do you remember storage drive, SSD, or HDD I talked about? So AWS is giving you 30 GB. So you can tell yourself, okay, no, I don't want up to 30. I only want 20. Okay. Now, but because of the type of operating system, the type of instance we are creating, which is on Windows, right? It needs more than 20 GB. You see, that's why it's giving us this error. Now, if it was a Linux machine, it would have been more than, it will work very fine. Now, if you're asking whether it can be more than 30, yes. But just know that AWS says something here that if you exceed, there's a limit for it anyway. Again, I don't want to touch on free tier for now. Okay, so but I'm going to keep it at the 30 GB. Okay, the 30 GB volume. Now, and this is EBS, not instance store. Now, I think that is all. So let's come from the top again. I gave it a name. Okay, first thing I gave it a name. Come down. Second thing, I chose Windows. Okay, so I'll click on this to collapse it. Then the third one, I selected T2 Micro. I'll click on this to collapse it. The fourth one, I created a key pair, okay, by clicking on this, which is this. I'll collapse it. The fifth one, I just left everything it is, the way it is, and I checked this box. I didn't touch any other thing other than adding these two boxes. Now, I'll scroll up, I'll collapse it. Now, I left this as 30 GB. Okay, so did you notice everything is populated? I hope nobody's confused. Now, the question is this. You've given me all the configuration you want. How many do you want me to create for you? Is it one like this? Is it one like this? Or do you actually want two? So supposing if you want two, I can create two for you. Okay? Something like this. You understand? So the question is, how do you do that? You come here. Sorry, you come here. Did you see number of instances? I'll do this and type 2. So it's going to create 2 of the instances for me. If I want 5, it's going to create 5 for me because AWS has the capacity to create 10 for me. I think the highest you can create is if I'm correct, maybe 16 or so. But that's a soft limit. We use the word soft limit. Okay. If you need more, you can contact AWS. Okay. Now, but there's a soft limit placed on it. So, but at least you understand what I'm doing. So I'm just going to leave it at 1 right now. Okay. Then did you see launch instance here? I'm going to click on launch instance. Now, this is what's going on. If you're following me and you understand what's going on, please type yes. If you're following me and you understand what's going on, type yes. Mr. Taiwo, please bear with us. I think it's working for other people, but please bear with us, okay? So sorry. I understand the network can be frustrating. Please just bear with us, okay? All right. So I want to believe that everybody. So did you get this success like I did? So I'm moving this to the left. If you're practicing and you got success and you're following me and you're practicing, type yes again, just to be sure. If you're following me and you practice and you did this, just type yes. I may not be able to take questions, but if you type the comments, I can read it. Okay, please, in case, just because of time. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, I can see one yes, which means two yeses, which means great, great. So let's continue. So now, friends, now that we have created it, how do we access it? Okay, we've created our own instance. Okay, so from where I am, this is me. I want to be able to connect to that instance so that I'll be able to do something inside of it. Is it not true? So how do I do it? Okay, so AWS, you can click here, or you can click here, which say connect to instance, or if you scroll down, you're going to see view all instances. Okay, so either way, but I'll just come down here and choose this one, view all instances. So if I click on this, it's going to take me to a different page entirely. So did you notice that it tells me Abiola's machine? What did you see here? Instant state is running. At this level, I don't want to confuse you. There are so many things going on here right now. We have the name we gave it. We have the instance we created, and this is the ID, the instance ID. The instance state is currently running. So it can be pending, can be stopping, it can be stopped, it can be terminated, and it can be running. Okay, there are different states. Don't worry, you're going to learn, you're going to see them as you keep practicing. Okay, now the instance type is T2 micro. If you scroll like this, you see so many informations. Okay, so but don't worry yourself. It just tell you the launch time, the key, and so on. So don't worry. So some people say that you need to wait for this to initialize. So it's supposed to give you a check mark here before you know you are ready to connect into it. So if you click on reload, now, because of the memory that I chose for this instance, it may not be fast in initializing everything. But don't worry, let's still continue. Okay. So how do we connect into this instance? Do you notice there's nothing showing here? There's nothing showing here. Now, you see this is something here. I can click here and drag down. I can drag it up. I can drag it down. I can drag it up. I can drag it down. I want you to take note of that. Now, notice there's nothing here. And there's only one instance here. So you can have 2 or 10, okay? And it will show you the number here. And if you click on one of them, it will show you the how many you've selected. If I select one now, it's going to give me more details here. Okay, more of this information, it will show it here. So how do I do that? Just click on this. So I'll just click on this. Bam. Can you see it checked the box? Can you see all the information here? So did you notice that we have details, status and alarm, monitoring? Don't worry about all these things again, so that you don't get confused. Okay, I just want you to know that it is running. Friends, I don't know if you noticed something. Do you remember one of the problems we had with Chief Abiola that time was that we didn't have any IP to share with Chief Abiola to see our products? But did you notice that this instance we created has a public IP? Did you see that? This is one of the benefits of using AWS because their machines usually come with IPs attached to it, private and public. For now, don't worry about what an IP is. Just know that it's a form of identity, okay? A form of identity, just like your name. If I come to your house and say I'm looking for Mary, or I'm looking for Emmanuel, or I'm looking for Taiwo, everybody knows who Taiwo is, right? So in a network on the internet, we use IPs to identify computers, okay? That's the little I can give you for now. All right, so you can always click this to refresh, to reload. Okay. Anytime you click on this, it's going to reload. So friends, can you see this check mark? So it's not a must to wait till you see the status check, but you can always wait if you're not in haste. Okay. In most cases, I have connected to it even when this is not double checks. Okay. So sometimes when you are having some kind of issues, always check this thing. Okay. Now, this is the instance AWS created for us, but we cannot connect into it. Okay. It's a Windows server, but we cannot connect into it. How do we connect into it? Notice that when I selected this thing, you can see connect here. Did you see that? There's connect at the top here. Connect, 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 connect. If I uncheck this box, watch, I'm going to uncheck it. Did you notice that the connect is grayed out? Nothing is active again. It's grayed out. But if I check the box, you see, connect becomes active. It's very important you understand these basics that I'm teaching you. Good. Now, you see this instance is running. If I click on instance state, I can stop it. I can delete or terminate it. I can reboot it. Okay? Just know that there's something like this. And these are the only two I will show you for now. If I want to create another one, I will click on launch instance. Okay? All right. So let's connect to it. I'll click on this. Connect. So this is what it shows you. Okay? I want to believe that I've not confused any of you. We are all on the same page. If you are able to get to this point, please, I want you to select this one here called RDP client. Just click on it. So, friends, remember, this guy wants to connect to this instance. Okay? So, AWS says for you to connect to us, you need to use something we call RDP client. What is RDP? Can anybody tell me? Anyway, the answer is here actually. Remote desktop. Okay? So remote desktop protocol actually. Okay? But RDP clients. So it needs to use this RDP. Okay? Now, if you're using a Windows computer, by default, it usually comes with RDP. If you type RDP, you're going to see something like this. Check your computer and see. Check your computer. If you can see it, type yes on the comment section. Okay? If you can see it, type yes on the comment section. Formula, I don't know what you mean by you can see what is being dragged. Okay? Don't worry, okay? I will take all the questions I can as much as possible. Okay? Yes, just press the start button or your start menu and type RDP. Okay? So you see it here. So this is remote desktop. RDP is the protocol itself, but this is RDC, which is remote desktop connection. Okay? All right. Thank you, Fumilaya, for confirming. Thank you. All right. So, friends, now I need this. In case you don't have this on your computer system, okay? In case you don't have this, you can download it. That's why you have this here. Say download RDP. You can connect to your Windows instance using RDP clients of your choice by downloading this. So when you download it, you'll be able to connect to it. Okay? Now, I don't know if this works for Mac users or Linux users. I've not tried it. Okay, but please, anybody that is using a different computer, please try it and let me know if it doesn't work for you. We'll know. I'll just make a research and see what happens. Okay, so I don't need to download this again because I already have it. Is it not true? Good. So I'm going to open but before I open it, this is what it tells me. It shows me that I need some things. It said this is my public DNS, which is also like a public IP. Don't worry about DNS for now. It tells me my username and it tells me password, but it doesn't show me password. It just told me get password. So to get password, it means I need to click on this. I hope I'm not losing you. I need to click on this to get the password. So how do I do it? Click on this, get password. Did you see that? Good. Now, did you notice something? It's telling me, remember we created key. We created a key when we're creating the instance. See, that's why I told you it is required. So it's telling you to upload that key. So I'll click on this upload and go to the location where the key is. Okay? Go to the location on your computer system. Okay? You can always check here, but I know where my own is. It's usually in the downloads folder, except you change it. Windows always leave it in downloads. So if you click on downloads, this is the key here that I created. Can you all see this? I hope it's not confusing you. So I'll just click on this. So if immediately I click on this, watch what is going to happen here. Okay? So I'll click on open. Did you see what it did? Good. Now, it put the key here and the contents of that key, it pasted it here. Now, please be careful not to I won't scroll down here so that you don't see all the contents of it. Be careful you don't expose this key, because if you're working for a company as a cloud engineer and you expose all this key, somebody can use it to connect to your server, especially if the person knows your IP. As someone who is teaching you right now, when I'm done, I'm going to delete this instance. Okay, so that nobody escalates privilege and have access to my account. All right. Now, so the next thing I will do, um, not to deviate, but remember I just talked about I don't want somebody to escalate privilege and the rest. Do you know that if I used an IAM user, right? I create an IAM user and give the user only EC2 full access. It means that this is the only service the person has access to. So even if the person escalates the privilege, the person will not be able to, for some, depending on the person's expertise, the person will not be able to use other AWS services other than EC2. Does that make sense? You see, one of the benefits of IAM policies. Okay, very important. Okay, so let's not waste time. So with this key now, it wants to decrypt this key to get a password. Okay, so this is like a cryptography, a key for the password. So I'll click on this decrypt. So did you notice what it did? It gave me this password here. Did you see that? So I'm going to need this password. Now, I need this password. I need this username. I need this public DNS. So let's open our RDP. Okay, so I'll come here and type RDP or RDC. Anyone. Okay, I'm sure you all know what I mean right now. So, remote. Why is my computer acting this way? Right, excuse me. Excuse me. So let's see. I think it's my browser that's acting weird. Okay, it's Chrome that's acting weird. That's why all these things are happening. Okay, so if I press this, okay, good. You see, it's responding now. So now let's come here. R. Oh, So friends, do you know that I wasn't even aware that I was disconnected? I was literally explaining. I'm so sorry. So for some weird reason, it just disconnected. So I'm so sorry. So sorry. Okay. So can you all hear me? And let me know when you can see my screen. Okay. Please let me know when you can see my screen. I'm currently sharing my screen. Okay. Let me know when you can see my screen. Please type. Okay. Okay. One person, another person. So we're about wrapping up. Okay. Great. Great. Thank you so much, friends. Thank you. So now I opened that RDC. Okay. This is what we opened. I'm sure you all know how to open this, right? Okay, good. So now it's asking which computer do you want to connect to? I already told you that computers are identified using an IP or DNS on the internet. Every computer has an identity, okay? And we identify computers using IPs or DNS. So this computer, this Windows, this is its public DNS. I'll copy this and I will paste it here, okay? So do the same thing if you're following me, all right? Now, see, there's no username specified right now, but we need the username, which is this. Is it not true? So you cannot just click connect because it will not allow you. So click on show options, all right? Just to be sure. Okay, good. Everybody's still with me. Good. So now this is, so from here, I need to enter the username. And this is the username, right? Administrator. I'll click on this to copy. And I'll paste the username here. See that? Good. So now, if you want to save this connection so that it will be easier for you every time you want to connect, you can just click on save. Do you understand? So now, right now, is trying to let's see, display. So this is just for all the configurations. Okay. So, but I don't think I need any of these things. Okay. We don't need any of them. So all you need to do, this, remember, this is the general tab. Don't get confused. You put this DNS here, which is this, administrator, which is this, and then you click on connect. Okay. You click on connect. Okay. So it's trying to connect. So can you see it's asking me for what? Password. Can you see the password here? Click on it and try to connect with the password. Did you see that? This is the password. So I'll click on what? Okay. So I can say remember me if you want to be connecting every now and then, but I'll just click OK. So it's connecting. So if we ask you this, do you want to connect despite this certificate error? Yes, I want to connect. Thank you very much. Just click yes if he asks you any question. So friends, can you see what's going on? Good. It's coming up. Oh my God. Amazing. It's coming up. It's coming up. So the Windows machine we try to create for Chief Abiola is coming up. So what is going on here? I am trying from my own location, I'm trying to connect to the instance that I told AWS to create for me. You see that? So this is it. It's coming up. Now, it all depends on the speed of the RAM and the, what is it called? The CPU. All those configuration determines how fast it's going to be. Friends, did you notice I have a beautiful Windows server here? If you got the same thing that I have, can you type yes on the comment section? If you got the same thing, please type yes, just to be sure. If you understand, also type yes. How I created the instance. Beautiful, beautiful. So I'm sure we all understood it. It's very simple. It's just a simple server. Very, very simple virtual machine. Okay. So that is how so what I just did is I just rented a machine from AWS. Okay. I rented a machine from what? AWS. And I have access to it. This is it. Okay. This is how beautiful it looks like. Okay. I can even connect to my internet. Now, sometimes, some people, okay, in cybersecurity, there's a lot of things we usually consider. when we are working, we are doing penetration testing and the rest of them, right? So we usually check a lot of, some people usually use virtual machines like this to do their operations. So they can use this kind of computer and be communicating with you, and you will think you are getting access to their IP. Now, okay, okay, I don't want to say this, but maybe some of you are aware, if you're in Nigeria, for instance, there's something that went viral, and then there's someone who accuses somebody and told the person that this is the person's IP, and that a hacker says that this is this person's IP, and unfortunately, it was not the person's IP. I'm being careful not to mention names, right? But those of you that might know the person or know the story might understand what I mean. So a popular celebrity accuses someone and says that this is the person's IP, the computer the person used in performing some things. Unknown to the person was actually using a server from somewhere else. And that server is currently, so this computer that I'm using right now, you see this computer. So if I click here now, this computer I'm using right now is in AWS. So which location? US East. Do you understand? This is all the configuration for this server that I'm currently using. So let's double click on this. So did you see? Exactly the same Windows operation. Exactly the same. Can you see the size of the drive? It's 30 GB when we were creating it. But this is how many we used. So I can use this for my day-to-day operation. But I just want you to know that it's not cheap anyway. But you can, of course, keep using it for your free tier. Okay? Don't worry. I may show you guys how to navigate the free tier at a later time. Okay? But this is how to create a simple virtual machine or an instance on the cloud. Now, let me see if I can, if I want to configure a server here, there are a lot of things I can do, but let me see if it's possible. If I click on this, okay, because we've not come to server, so let me not be faster than myself. So I'll just take it slow and steady so that I don't confuse you all. So now we've been able to create our first virtual machine using Windows operating system. Okay, so if I come on this search bar here, okay, and I type info, just like I did on my own personal computer, I click on system information. You're going to see that this computer is using Microsoft Windows Server 2022 data center. Did you see that? And you can see the specification. This is the RAM. Can you see? This is the RAM it's using. And this is the processor it's using. Do you understand? So please, I want you to, so sometimes companies expect some people to have some experience. If you don't have the physical computer, you can go and rent a server from AWS or any other cloud provider. Okay, so let's move on. If you've understood so far, I believe the answer is yes. So how do I close this? Very simple. The same way so you can actually shut it down. The normal way you stop Windows computer. So if I click here, I can click on this and I can shut it down, okay? Or disconnect, okay? Now, if you don't want to, this is your, this is the RDP client, okay? So you can also come here and click on this to close it, okay? These are a lot of things you have here, okay? So, but if you click on this and click on, what is it called? Disconnect. It will disconnect the connection to the PC, okay? Now, so, but yeah, I'll just disconnect it, okay? Yeah, so I've disconnected it, but this machine is still running. And how do I know it is still running? All I need to do right now is to click on cancel here. And if you come here, you should be able to see if this is running or not. Can you see? It is still running. Okay. The fact that I have disconnected does not mean it's not running. Okay. So now we've gotten the first step. We've created our first virtual machine that is running Windows. I'm going to use the next few minutes we have to create another virtual machine that is running another operating system called Linux. But before I do that, I want to show you best practice. Or, okay, let's create it first. Then I'll show you how to terminate all the instances so that you don't incur any costs rather. Okay, so friends, let's create another instance. Okay, so instead of, let's say we want another instance, but this time around it's not Windows. We want it to be Linux. Okay, Linux is an operating system, in case you're not aware. Okay, we still touch some other things so that you all understand. So I'll click on launch instance. Okay, in other words, I want to rent another server from AWS. So I'll come here and now let's call this one Abiola Linux machine. Did you see that? It can be any name. If I want only one, so I can put two just so that you can see, but you can try it, okay, just because of time. So you see, instead of Windows that I chose before, I can leave it and choose this, or I can use the friendly guy called Ubuntu. So let's choose Ubuntu. Now, for those of you that have never used Mac OS before, Mac OS, can you see Mac? Did you see Mac OS? Now, I don't want to change to it, but you can even try it so that you can see how Mac OS looks like. But please be checking your account so that you don't get a funny alert. All right. Now, but of course, it's not gonna because you're on free tier, so you'll be fine. So yeah. So I'll choose Ubuntu. Okay. I'll scroll down. So yes, I'm done with this one. It's Ubuntu I'm choosing. I'll click on this to collapse it. And yes, I want this to be one. Okay, I want this to be the free tier. Okay. Now, okay, please, I encourage you, please choose free tier. Okay, because I'm the one teaching you. I have like over I think I have over $400 on my AWS account. Okay, the AWS credits I have. So, and I want, because I'm teaching you, I want this to be very fast for me. Okay, don't worry, I'm still going to terminate this. So I'm going to scroll down and choose something very, very fast. Okay, something that I know is going to spin up very fast for me. So I'll just choose this. Okay, 8 virtual CPU and 16 gig RAM. Okay, so remember, if you mistakenly leave, if you are practicing alongside with me, and if you're watching this video at a later time, do not forget, if you mistakenly chose this with me, I encourage you to stick to free tier, which is this T2 micro. Okay, but if you go ahead and choose any other one, make sure you terminate it because it is reading. It is reading. Okay. I already have some money on my account. That's why. Okay. So now I'll come down. Okay. So remember, once we've done this AMI, I told you I'll talk about AMI or an instance type. This is AMI instance type. I'll talk about it in the next class. So I'll click on this to collapse it. I need to create a key pair. This is how we'll create a key pair. You click on this. So I'll give you the name. So now you may be wondering, must I create a new one? No, you can always use the same key that you have before. Did you see that? You can use one key for everything you want to do, even though it's not a good practice. Some people are of the opinion that you should use different keys, but let's just use the same key so that you will see it's going to still work. So I'll choose the same key that I use for my Windows. Okay. Now I'll scroll down. For the networking, I'll leave everything the way it is. Okay. I won't touch anything. I'll just collapse this. Okay. So did you notice that the Linux machine Ubuntu is giving me 8 GB, but I can increase it to 20 or to 30 if I want. Okay, it's my choice. Good. Now I'm done with this. I'm done with the key. So I think I'm done with all the parameters. You mustn't collapse it, but I'm doing it so that you can see. Don't worry about these advanced details for now. Okay. So we filled everything. I'll click on what? Launch instance. Okay. All right. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Good. Now scroll down and click what? View all instances at the bottom right. Now you're going to see this. Now, can somebody tell me Where is the instance I just created? Where is the instance I just created? It's there, but I'm not seeing it. Can anybody see it? The instance I just created. It's not showing. What do you think could be the problem? Okay, beautiful. We need to refresh. Okay, so I'll come here. I'll just click on refresh. Okay, so when I click on refresh, you're going to see the one we created. Okay, it's deliberate so that you all understand what. So do you notice there are two right now? Even though I selected one, I can uncheck this. See, there are two instances. So this is the one I just create. I can click on this to expand this. This is the one I just created now. See the instance type here. It's still initializing, but it's running. So I can select this and I'll see more information here. I can reload this and you see what's going on. Now, friends, how do I connect to this instance? The same way we did the other one. Just check the box, okay? This is the Linux machine, okay? Good. Now, if I don't want to confuse you, this, I uncheck this. This one is Windows. Is it not true? I can click on this icon here and click inside here and type Windows and check this box. You must check this box. If not, if you click outside, it will cancel what you did. I'll click on this. See, I've edited it. Good. Now, so the one I want to connect to is this Linux one. So I'll choose this and I'll click what? Connect. So friends, right now, don't bother about, so there are different ways we can connect to it, okay? I would have taught you the SSH clients, but right now, let's take it slow and steady, okay? All I need to do is just come here, okay? And click connect. There are two ways. I can connect it over the browser or I can connect it using SSH clients. The same way I used RDP. So, but let's use this first one. So I'll just come here and click on connect, okay? I'll click on connect. Now, you need to be patient. In most cases, if this connection is establishing fails, it could be your network or it could be that the machine is not yet ready. Can you see it's connected? Friends, can you see this? Now you might be wondering, is that all? Is this what we need? Yes. This is how a Linux environment looks like. Okay. At least the CLI version. Okay. Not that's the CLI server version, not the GUI. So if I type clear, I'll type clear, CLEAR. You see, this is what this machine looks like. So it's ready. So if I type something like, who am I? Tells me I'm Ubuntu. Now, some of you may not know what's going on here. Don't worry. Okay. So if you're able to do this with me, please type yes on the comment section. So far, we've been able to create two machines. Okay. We've been able to create two machines. All right. The first one is the Windows machine. The second one is the Linux machine. Okay. So this is where we're going to stop for today so that we don't make session too lengthy. Okay. I would have done more things, but just slow and steady. Okay. So how do we stop these machines? How do we stop this machine? I'm teaching you now so that you can terminate it with me to avoid incurring costs if it exceeds your free tier limits. So how do I do that? I'll come here. Okay. See, two of them is running, right? So I can select two of them or do it one by one. Okay. So I'll just select both of them. Under action, under instance state, I can choose to stop them. You only stop them if you have plans to use them later. Okay. You have plans to use them later, or you have files you've created inside them. But if you don't have files you've created, you can terminate it. And to terminate means to delete the instance. So immediately I click on this, AWS will tell you that there is a volume, there's a drive there's a drive that is attached to this instance. Are you aware of what you are doing? If you terminate it, you're going to lose all the whole files inside that drive. Oh, are you sure? Can you confirm this? If you say yes, terminate. AWS is going to wipe, it's going to come here and say, okay, young man, I see you no longer need us. Let's go. And this is what happens. It deletes both of them. And if you wait for a short while, you see that the instance state has moved. It's now shutting down. Instead of running, it's now shutting down. If you reload again, you'll notice that after a while, it will be changing from one state to another. Okay? It may change to terminated. Okay? So, friends, this is how much we can cover for today. To make a quick summary, today we learned how EC2 works. Okay? EC2, which is called AWS or Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. The C there is 2, Compute Cloud. Okay? It's a virtual machine that runs on AWS Cloud. Okay? So they have a gigantic server that you can rent. Okay? And they are able to rent it to you with the help of a hypervisor software. Okay? With a hypervisor software. Okay? So with the help of that software, you are able to rent this kind of servers like this and run Windows or Linux inside them and connect to it from your computer, and you'll be able to connect to it. And that is what we did today. Ladies and gentlemen, I really hope today's session has been informative. So thank you so much for joining me. This is where we will start for today. Thank you. So, yep, if you have questions, please, this will be a good time for you to ask. And should we shut down our instance also? Yes, Fumilayo, please do so, please. All right, you should. Except maybe you have plans to practice, okay? But I encourage you to please do so, okay? You're welcome, Mr. Babs. You're welcome, Adiola. Thank you. Any question? Any question? Okay, so let's take only 5 questions so that we can all go. Please expect our quiz for last week. Expect a quiz for last week. Don't go without hearing this. There's a quiz coming. Okay, there's a quiz and a project. Some of you have not submitted your project for week 1. We deliberately didn't want to bombard you all with so many things, even though, yes, we were busy, right? But please expect it from us either today, tonight, or tomorrow morning. Okay, the quiz for last week and the project is coming. All right. Now, the idea behind it is to help you remember and reinforce all the things you are learning. Okay. We understand that some of you are very busy professionals, and you have a family and have work. That's why we're trying to make sure that it's not so stressful and difficult for some of you. Okay. Please don't give up. Make sure you always reach out and you ask questions if you feel stuck. We are always willing and ready to help you. Okay. All right. So let me take the first question. Mr. Babatunde, good evening, and please go ahead and let us know if you have a question or a remark.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you, Nat.
Yeah, thank you very much. First
You're
of all,
welcome.
these instances that we created, if we do not shut it down, is it going to take charges later on?
Okay, even though I was planning to do that tomorrow, but since you asked the question and some of you are still here and the recording is still on, so as you might as well let me answer it so that anybody watching it can answer it. So if you come and type AWS free tier, right? AWS free tier. Please, I told you be careful, don't be clicking on the sponsored link. Okay? Just come here, you're going to see this. Now, when you click here, you're going to see all the services that AWS is giving you for free that you can use during the 12-month period to gain hands-on experience on their products and services. It ranges from compute to database and so on and so forth. Now, this is it. AWS said free trials, 12 months free, and always free. So AWS has some services that is always free. If you want to know, click on it. So you know that it belongs to it. Okay, in case this is going to help you in some exams, if you have plans to write exams, AWS have some services that is always free. AWS has some services that is only free for the first 12 months when you create your account. AWS has some services that is only free trial. You just try it maybe for 7 days, 14 days, and after which you pay. Now, you have to decide which one by clicking on learn more. Now, but if you come down here, this is the focus for the free tier. Okay, especially the 12 months on. That is the one I want you all to focus on. Did you notice that you have Amazon EC2, 12 months free? Okay. Now, did you notice 750 hours per month? So if there are 24 hours, 24 hours in a day, so you check it and know how many hours it's in 750 hours. So AWS is telling you that you have 750 hours of free tier usage in a month. If you exceed that 750 hours, AWS will start charging you. Now, it is not just that you can now spin up anything you feel like. No, AWS specified and said you should make sure that you must stick to only the things they mark free tier. Okay, if you go and choose any other thing outside what was marked free tier, you are outside their free tier plan and you will be billed accordingly. It's making sense, right? Now, AWS is now, so if you see here, so they give more information about the 750 per month based on your public IP, the Windows instance, and your Linux instance. You understand? So they give a whole lot of details. So if you click here, let's reduce the fonts. Sorry. I increased it because I wanted other people to see. So this is it. Okay. If you click here, you can see more information about all those things. And I encourage everybody to read it, please, so that they can understand it. Okay. You can read it so that you can understand all the benefits that AWS is bringing to the table. AWS EC2. You understand? So read it and understand all the powerful features. Now, but this is the free tier. So you can click on this and Amazon EC2 pricing. So you can scroll down and you can see different types. So I'm being careful not, I didn't want to talk about the pricing for now because I didn't want to confuse you. I wanted to cover a lot. Okay. So, but don't worry, we'll leave this at a later time and I'll still touch it. Okay. So, because if you get a client in Upwork, in freelance or anywhere, and they ask you to create a server and so on, or you want to work as a company, or they ask you to give them a quotation, you won't just come and go and create an EC2 instance. There's a way we calculate it. Okay, so AWS has something we call AWS pricing calculator. Okay, they have something we call pricing calculator, which you use in calculating each of the services. So you do an estimation how much it's going to cost you when you have EC2, S3, and the rest of them. But again, all those things are advanced. So this is just basic. So let's stick to this. Okay. So I'm sure you get the whole drift, right? So please, I encourage you to check the free tier very well. Okay. Both the EC2, both the S3, and the rest of them. Okay. So that you don't use any service beyond what AWS can afford. I hope that answers your question, sir.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I was going to play around with the 750 hours that I had before, but now that you mentioned it, I don't want to waste the hours.
But it's in a month anyway. Just know that it's in a month. Yeah. So, and I don't encourage you to always keep it running. So you can always stop it. Okay. If you're not if you're not using it, delete the instance. If you want to do something, run with, you can stop it now, but know the difference. Please, this is important. I want you all to see this. Remember, some of you are a few persons on this call are in Africa and other parts of the world. If you are in a region where you know that there's usually power failure, the fact that you have power failure, if you turn on your instance here and your computer, you have power failure and this computer goes down, this one does not go down. Take note of that. Very important because if your power outage goes out for 2 days or 2 weeks, this computer, this server that you have running will continue running, waiting for you. That's why it's called a server. That's why AWS is running it for 24/7. In fact, if you want it to be running for the next 1 year, AWS will not touch it. You understand? So take note of that, that you are always observing it and you have power if for any reason connect it to your phone and go and stop the instance. All right. So I think having said that,
Okay,
that's
so
what I want to
you have
say.
to, so, sorry, if you want to delete the instance, we go to instance state, right? To
You said?
terminate. How to terminate an instance.
Yeah. Instance state. Yes. You click on it and click on terminate. Yeah.
Okay. Because
All right.
I'm trying to do right now, and the is kind of blank under everything is whitish kind of color. Is not
You did not,
okay.
you need
Sorry,
to select, you did not select the
yeah,
instance. If you
uh,
select it, yeah.
yeah, it's not point to that. Thank you.
Right. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Babatunde. Thank you. All right, Mr. Tolu or Mrs. Tolu, would you mind? Good evening. Do you have a remark or do you have a question for us? Can you unmute yourself and say something?
Me?
Are
Can
you
you hear
there,
me? Can you hear me?
Skeba? Yes, I can. Najin Kasosai. Go ahead, please.
So I have a question to ask. You were explaining the concept of virtualization, So you drew this a big picture of a physical server, and you said the reasons why we can have our own server, like we can use AWS server, is because of the virtualization is possible because there's something called hypervisor, So my question is, this hypervisor, is it installed in our own system to make us access the server, or it is installed on AWS data centers? So that's my first question. Do we install this hypervisor on our own system, or it is on AWS data centers?
Okay, so let me answer you right away. So the client who is connecting or making a request doesn't need a hypervisor to be able to rent a server from AWS. You understand? So AWS is the one that has big servers and they just want to give you a portion. It's just like having a big building, a duplex, and I just want to rent to you a small store. You understand? I just want to give you an outlet, a little store out of the entire building, or a 1 bedroom out of the whole thing. You understand? So you don't need to do anything other than pay for it. Does that make sense? Do you understand? I hope that answers your question, Mr. Tulu. So the answer is no. You don't need any hypervisor. Now, but why I'm being careful not to touch more on it is because there are a lot of things we can do with hypervisor. If this was a DevOps class, I would have shown you different kinds of things and how we can install virtual machines and have different operating systems. I can actually do it on my computer systems. You too can also do it. Okay, so if you go and install a software called VirtualBox or VMware, you can also have different operating systems. So if you're using a Windows computer, you can have Linux computer on a virtual machine. You can have Mac on a virtual machine. It's possible too. The same way AWS installed the hypervisor, you can also install it on your own. But do you need it to connect to AWS own? No, you don't. But can you configure your computer to have a hypervisor too? Yes, you can. I hope that helps.
Okay, it helps, it does. Okay, the reason why I'm asking because I've been taking before this boot camp started, I've been learning 1 or 2 things on DevOps. I've been using YouTube. Then there's this tutorial where we had to install hypervisor. We were using the VirtualBox hypervisor, and so we were using it to create virtual machines. So we used, I think the difference is we are creating virtual machines locally compared to AWS, which is cloud. So I think I get a clarification now. So secondly, Secondly, I've incurred costs on my AWS account. Even though I saw some resources that taught how to escape all these expenses, even using free tier account. I'm having like $6 expense on my AWS account, a free tier account. So I'm trying to. Okay, my question is, can I evade it? Like, can I abandon the account and reopen another one, following your procedures on how to evade cost on free tier account? Will it still work? Or because the reason why I'm asking is maybe my IP has been marked, and whatever account I open with this particular laptop, it will still be marked as someone who was owing before. I don't know if you get the question I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, I do. Now, but it depends on what actually made you to incur that cost, right? Now, the truth is this: I've had reasons to train students where they had some issues, and then they wrote AWS and explained to them what happened, and AWS wiped off the bill completely. In fact, I think it was almost $100. AWS wiped it off. You understand? Now, if your genuine concern is very genuine, you're learning and then you had need for it, AWS is going to wipe it off if you explain to them and they can confirm, right? Now, but some other persons may have created the account for a long time and then they have some services and yes, you may not be aware, but AWS has been billing you, so they may not listen to you. They could suspend your account. So, can you create another one? Yes, you can. Now, if there's something fishy about the whole process, AWS is going to suspend that new one. Okay, so you can create one now that AWS has not yet suspended the account and has not even demanded for it. So I don't know if you've set up your budgets, because if you set up your budget, I don't think you would have been aware before it got to that $6. Okay, so that was why it's the first thing I taught you guys. Please make sure you set up your budget at least $1 or $2 so that once it gets to that point, you quickly go and check. And if there's something that you know you left turned on, you can delete it or stop it. You understand? So go ahead and create the account. You can use a different email or you can use the same email address and AWS will still create it for you. Except maybe there's something fishy and AWS is going to terminate it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Though I actually set the budget, but then I was getting email alerts, but then I could not find any. I thought it was a glitch. I could not find any running service, AWS running service. I did not. So later, when I was just exploring through the whole console, I saw something. So I think it was that was the issue you addressed about using different zones. So I think that was where the
Different
problem.
regions, exactly. So you may not know that something is running in a different region and the bill comes in. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hello, Mr. Jafar. Can you unmute yourself? Good evening. Let us know if you have a question or a remark.
Hello. Good evening, Mr. Frederick.
Good evening, Mr. Mina.
Yeah, thank you very much. Assuming I am Nigeria, I will have hosted a server on AWS.
What did you say?
Said, assuming I am Nigeria, I will have hosted a server for INEC.
It's possible they did that, but you wouldn't know anyway.
Yeah, just trying to be hilarious. Thank you, as always.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
yes, you're welcome.
You made mention of having a $400 credit from AWS.
Okay.
Fortunately enough for some of us, we have received mails from AWS that we should apply for a $300 credit.
Yeah.
So I am asking, is there a special prompt or a way to go about the application, or we should just follow the prompt and we'll get the credit?
Okay, so I remember when I started learning about AWS. So if you see this is apply for $300 AWS credits. Sign up for free. So now the truth is this. This is open to almost everybody, as you all can see here. Okay. Now, but when you're filling the form, if I click on this now, see, it's going to, I don't think this is the form. So there are different forms, except they've changed their approach. So it depends on the form you have. There are different types of forms, okay? Now, but you can convince them depending on what you're doing, okay? So like they said, testing out your proof of concept. There are different things you're doing. If you're very honest to them, like I remember telling them that I was a student and I was just learning AWS and they gave it to me. You understand? Now, but this one, the $500 I talked about is a different one. One of the $500 credits I have is because I belong to the AWS community builders. Okay. There's something we call AWS community builders. Okay. Where we have all AWS professionals come together. You understand? And then the I think about 3,000 or 4,000 of us across the whole world, people that are building on AWS. So if you qualify, AWS is going to be giving you $500 worth of voucher every year. AWS is also going to be giving you free certification voucher every year. AWS is also going to give you access to a course, a platform where you can be learning AWS services for free for 1 year. So all these things is available to AWS community builders. Okay, so as you can see, this is it here, AWS community builders. So I'm part of them, and I think see it's about 2,000 something. I think they've removed some people because you need to renew. That's why I encourage you all to be writing your article, creating contents, because for you to qualify, you need to have created something. You need to be a builder, somebody who creates things on AWS for other people to learn. You understand? So when the form is out, I think either once in a year or 2 times in a year, once the form is out, you will fill the form and give them links to all the content you've created. And if they select you, Ula, I think this is my 4th year or so. So I've won different kind of things from the bag to the pen to the cup to the cap to the hoodie, different kinds of things. You understand? So again, but you get 500 voucher credit. Now, and the beautiful thing is, if you know how it works, you can actually sell the $500. But AWS does not encourage that. But AWS wants that you are 100% responsible. They will not be blamed and they will not give you another one. Okay. So this method and other method, there are so many ways. And the other credit I have, I bought it. You understand? So there are different ways to get credits, and you just have to keep reaching out, following other people, and knowing what's happening. Okay, so I think this is the AWS Community Builders wait list. So if you want to get an email whenever AWS starts collecting the AWS Community Builder, so you can fill this form. Okay, this is the form. Once you fill it, AWS will let you know when they start accepting community builders. So I think that should have answered your question. Are you there,
Yes,
Mr.
thank you.
Jafar?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. All right. Let's take the last person, or Mr. Abdul Wasir. Good evening. Can you unmute yourself? Do you have a question for us or a remark?
Yeah, okay, good evening.
Hi,
Can
good
you hear
evening.
me?
Yes, I can
Yeah,
audibly. Go ahead, please.
okay, my first question is, for the instances created, what happens if you hibernate it rather than terminate? And also, when you're creating your key, what's the difference between the PEM format and the PPK format? Those are my 2 questions.
Okay, thank you. Now, so hibernating it simply means you just want to save the files and store it in the volume in the drive. The drive is like the storage, the hard disk, right? So it's like stopping it temporarily. Okay. Now it will not be running, but you have your EBS volume. Now the way it works is this: AWS might not charge you for the EC2 instance, but your EBS volume, your hard disk, might be incurring costs. So that's the risk of just hibernating it or stopping it. Does that make sense? So I always tell people, if you know you're not using it, just terminate it. Except you know it's something you're using and you have the credits for it, fine. Then you can either stop it or you can just leave it running. Okay. So the next question you asked is remind me please.
Yeah, for the key,
Okay, the
we
key, the
created,
PEM and the
there were
PPK.
two formats. Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea is this: there are different ways those cryptography those key. We have PM, okay, PEM, and we have PPK. Okay. Now I wanted to dive into it and even show you how to create one, how to convert it. But all those things are going to take time because my approach is slow and steady so that you guys can grasp everything. So, but just maybe in the next class or so, I may still touch on it, okay, and explain deeper what it is and how it works and how to connect your servers with it from your machine, from your terminal machine, rather from the browser. I showed you how to connect from the browser, but ideally we connect from our local machines, either from VS Code or from another console or from anywhere. Okay. Once you use the SSH protocol, you can connect to it. Okay. So, or you can use some what we call SSH clients like PuTTY or like Mobile Xterm or like Temus, VS Code, and the likes of them. Okay. But again, it's slow and steady. If you can, just remind me in subsequent session, and I'll definitely throw a lot of light on it so everybody can get a good grasp. Does that make sense?
All right, thank you. Yeah, it does. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody. We're going to stop recording right now. We've been able to address all the questions, and please do have a great night rest. And thank you for joining us. Please expect the quiz and